I genuinely think Guild Wars is the best game mode in the game right now. What's up YouTube, Addicting Air here. Today we're going to be talking about a game mode that really not a lot of people talk about, and that's Guild Wars. Now, Guild Wars, you hear of it and you're like, oh, only whales can participate, or only pay to plays or whatever you may think. Now, to a certain degree that is true, and I'll explain why. But I'm gonna have a little bit of background playing, just me playing in the background. But I just wanted to emphasize that I genuinely think Guild Wars is the best game mode in the game right now. Now it's crazy. Oh, what about PvP? What about PvE? Now, the thing is, the reason I enjoy Guild Wars is mostly because of the teamwork you use with your teammates, combined with sitting Discord calls, stuff like that, combined with strategy for your defensive teams and your attacking teams, and what attacking teams could work against defensive teams, memorizing some bot patterns, what cards will the enemy use first, compared, because it's against PvE. Now you may think, oh, that's it's boring because it's against bots and it's not against real-time PvP 4v4. Now, to coordinate a 4v4 like that would be very hard, so I see why it's PvE, but I genuinely enjoy it. You'll see in the background, I'm playing against multiple types of teams, multiple types of builds. There's, just to name a few, some units that you'll never see in PvP, like Green Monspeed, or you could see Kyo, but not as much. Green Easton, who came out and I've not seen her in PvP since, right? So what happens is these units actually get used in a in that type of environment where bots won't necessarily do rank 2 cards, so you can't necessarily rely on units that have rank 2 skills that are good. So you have to rely on units that have good taunting skills, like Blue Dairy is a decent defensive unit or attacking unit. So it just opens up a bunch of units that you don't use, and you may think, oh well, now I'm gonna have to wail on those units, make them good. To a certain degree, yes, because in order to play Guild Wars you need 20 gear sets, not counting the association, so it's a total of 40 gear sets, right? But they don't all have to be UR. The thing is, the gear sets you use on defense, once you set your defensive team, you can kind of use the gear yourself, kind of like Brawl, how you set your gear, but it's not like it's locked into that character forever. You can just move around the gears after, because once it's saved, it's like locked in. So what I really wanted to say, premise of Guild Wars, there's a bunch of people with just a simple way, just a bunch of people with bases, and you attack certain bases. You attack, depending on the defensive team, depending on your attacking team, you attack certain bases, you try to take it down as much as you can, and then, you coordinate with your teammates, hey, this team is probably best against this team, because A, B, and C, and then you attack. Now, I'm actually surprised that this is not, more accessible game mode. It should be. I think it's top, 40 guilds can participate, which is not crazy, but you do have to have a decent amount of boxes and at least a little bit of money invested if you really want to try, because like I said, 40 gear sets gets pretty expensive. I mean, they could all be rare gear, but you're losing out a lot of stats. So I don't know. It's interesting how this is not open to the world. Guild Wars itself makes Assault Melee one of the best units in the game, but when you go to PvP, Assault Melee, he's good, he's okay, but he's not the best. Units like Green Estarossa, insane in Guild Wars, mid-tier in PvP at best. And it kind of, I don't know, it kind of opens up, maybe not all units are usable, but some things are usable that you wouldn't think of, such as these Stranger Things units. Using Jim with Rugal on a defensive team is actually very strong, because if you think about it, the good thing about defense, it's bots, right? You can't really choose what they attack, or like when they attack them, or save cards or move cards, stuff like that. So usually Pierce team will just attack, and having Jim's debuffs on enemies while Rugal's just attacking, and Blue doing melee, whatever, mostly Rugal because he gets the extra 40% damage, is huge. Also because he has the ult removal. He will automatically remove an ult if someone is full ult gauge. So I just wanted to say, don't sleep on this game mode. This game mode is actually very, very interesting. Now I've seen there's very little content of it. You see Seaton post about it here and there. You know, most people aren't even in a guild that big because if you're a JP player, it's very competitive. Guild Wars is very competitive. But if you're a global player, Guild Wars is achievable by some people, right? Obviously not a lot of people, but some people could experience it. And I definitely think if you have the box CC, if you have the materials, you know, go for it. Definitely go for it. There's no reason not to. It's like another game mode you can play in. Now, worst comes to worst, you do bad in the war, your guild doesn't like, you know, your teams or whatever, you get kicked. Best case scenario, you have fun. And to me, again, Guild Wars might be my favorite game mode. It's just the way it is, just the way it's built, just the way Discord, you know, you communicate with your guild, attack, defense, you know, certain teams. It just makes it really nice. You know, it's not full of, the thing is, it's not, okay. Another thing, sorry, that's just a lot of things to get out. Another thing that's very good about attacking is that you will usually, if both teams are built properly, you will always go second. Without any doubt, you'll always get out CC'd, you'll always go second because the defending team is allowed to put linking units, but the attacking team is not allowed to put linking units. Right, so this just makes it easy for the defensive team to out CC. If you see someone play against a base, let's say Seed play against a base, and he's out CCing with an assault melee team or any type of team, that's not realistic. If he was playing against someone that was really as the same level of whale as him, he would 100% get out CC because linking units is huge. Not having one entirely is losing out on like 15% of stats or something, basic stats. So now counting the sub stats that the links also give you. So being always put at a disadvantage, you always gotta see, okay, what unit could get me, you know, could really help me out turn 2 or like, you know, after getting attacked by a heavy amount of attacks. It is 4-on-4, by the way, if I did not mention. Or you could probably see it on screen. That's a dumb thing to say, but like, so using like a Ludo team on defense is very strong because you always out CC because you have a linking unit on it. And you can use buffs. Not mentioning you can also set a certain amount of buffs, HP, defense, or attack onto those units, and they get even more stats, which heavily increases defense. And it just makes it really interesting how to react. You know, something like Red Mela. Red Mela is very good because if you know one of your units are going to die turn 1, let's say you go against a Sariel Ludo team, right? And Sariel, because he goes first and because he has so many more stats, so much better stats than you do, and he's buffing himself with his own passive, he one-shots your tank at the end. You know, single target AoE, it does whack, trust me, it does whack. You think no way that'll kill turn 1 with 2 level 1 cards. In Guild Wars it does. Because in Guild Wars, like I said, linking units versus non-linking units, most likely your tank at the end is dead turn 1. So then Mela's passive activates, and then you taunt with Diane. So now you're in a position where I have basically a immortal tank Diane taunting. So now you're more easily able to, unless he gets more AoEs of course, but if you get decently lucky and he doesn't get 20 AoEs, you're able to use like a Lost Vein or something, or ult rushing unit, Green King, and just wipe the team. Wipe the Sariel Ludo team with other Archangels, let's just say. And it's just interesting how you play like you're at a disadvantage before you load in. It's like playing PvP, knowing you're gonna play a whale that's gonna out CC you 100% of the time, basically. So by doing that, you know, it just you play the game differently. It's just a whole different scenario. Like, imagine if your favorite YouTubers consistently knew they were going second and they weren't running evade, or you know, it's just like, it's like they pull a carpet under your, you know, you're not standing on carpet anymore. Just pull it right under, and it just, I don't know. Like I said, it's an interesting way to play the game, and it's a new way to play the game. So that's why I really enjoy it. It just like, it really opens up different things to do and different ways to play. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say. I will be streaming my Guild Wars attacks tomorrow at like, I don't know, 10 a.m. Pacific. We'll see. I have a couple attacks. It won't be too long, but I'll do my attacks, do dailies, whatever. And we'll see. It's gonna be my last war before it's finally determined if we move up a rank. So it's basically there's 4 teams in a bracket, and we play each team once. And if you win, you get 3 points. If you draw, you get 1 point. If you lose, you get 0 points. And if we get the most points out of the bracket, kind of like soccer, how it has like in the FIFA World Cup, how they have like separate groups, kind of like that. Like usually the first and second place of that bracket will move up, and then the second place or the third and fourth place at the top of the bracket right above us will move down. So it's like if we can get second place, we could, you also get to skip guild boss, so we could get to skip a Kumu, and we get to go play against a little bit higher level. And then, it kind of balances us out depending on how whale our guild is, how crazy our, how high we can go in Guild Wars. And Guild Wars seeding, like, what rank you are in, like, where you play or who you play against, depends on your guild boss score. So if your guild boss score is insanely high, then you're going to play against whales. But if your box isn't built for a whale Guild Wars, then you could be in trouble, right? Like I said, Guild Wars is all about building out your box, building out your units, your linking units, everything. It's like working on everything you can, because you never know when something will be pretty good to use. If this Festival Arthur is a human buffer, then maybe some units that weren't really used now are used, and now you might need to get cosmetics for them. Maybe you are Giro, although it's not necessary. Stuff like that. So it opens up the game, makes you play differently. That's what I like about it. That's end of the day, you play differently. That's pretty much it. I don't want to talk too much. I will be sorry if I haven't posted on YouTube been a bit busy with life and streaming, so I wasn't focusing on YouTube for a little bit. But I just like to talk a little bit, and with a little bit of background, make you think. Make you think. Thinking is always good for you. But yeah. Enjoy the video, like and subscribe. That's all I can really tell you. That's literally all I can tell you. You should do it though. That's pretty much it. I will see you all in the next video. Peace.